perimeter of a zone, if you're going to do multiple players, it'll spread the objectives out pretty nicely. These buttons right here are really useful, and sometimes you're going to get really weirded out by, you're going to sit there and go, oh, why can't I see units in MCC? It's because you have one of these clicked. This is going to let you see all units on screen. Pretty simple. This is going to let you see, as you can see, all those west guys went away, and all we see is me on the map. West, it's going to show all the players in the west. Because I'm logged in as west, it's going to show me as well. So it'll show your west players as well as your west AI. This will show just your east, and we can see there's one over here. We're going to show, this will show independent, and then civilian, which we have no civilians on. And like I said, civilians are going to be white in MCC, so just be aware of that. Alright, down here, we have your units and group screen. Your unit, so this is just going to show your players. This is very helpful if we don't have multiple players on right now, but if we click like the players menu, this is going to show all of the players right here without having to click on a unit. Anyways, this is going to show your unit, and this is going to show your group. And we can see over here, this is going to show the rifleman, and this is going to show what group he's in. Basic commands over here, they mean exactly what they say. Teleport, you just move units around. Oh, I had myself select. So we can teleport the AI around, we can teleport our players around. That's the command we use to do that. Broadcast is really cool. It's the thing that shows in the bottom right here. And we'll go over that in a bit. Hijack only works for AI units. You can't hijack another person. So don't try and hijack a player. It does have the potentiality to bug out and cause issues, so please don't do it. Basically, this allows you to hijack a unit, and we're going to go more into that. That's really awesome for creating dynamic missions. Tracking just basically puts them on your map. So, again, we'll go into that later. That's not really something you need to worry about most of the time. Joining groups, I don't do through MCC. It's a lot easier to do through Zeus, but again, we'll go into that later. Deleting, this is again just another form of delete brush, but just for individual units or groups. Parachute, we just throw them into a parachute. And Halo is, they don't have the parachute open, they just come from really high up. Not sure if we can parachute AI. This only really works for, anyways. And then obviously down here we have this is going to be on whatever person you select, and you have your regular night vision thermal. Down here, basic log out, and close. Save, load. This is something that you'll get used to after a while. This is basically creating missions or creating things beforehand. You can save it to your clipboard, you can save it to your SQM file, which is how you create objects into missions very easily. You can save just the MCC Zeus stuff. The cool thing about MCC 4 is it will, if you use one of these two, it will save your Zeus configurations too. So if you place something in Zeus or MCC, it'll save both, and you'll have them for later. So that's really cool. Save clipboard, load from clipboard is pretty simple, and then save to profile and load from profile. These are your profiles. You just select one, click load from profile, and it's going to load whatever you have saved in the mission there. Those are really cool for if you want to have base building, stuff like that. If you want to do your mission a day beforehand or the basics of it and stuff like that, you can come in, load. It takes a little bit to load, so like depending on how much stuff in there, it's going to take anywhere from a minute to 15 minutes to load everything. Alright, okay, coming up side, we've already gone with the client side menu, which has a little bit of stuff in it. Jukebox, just avoid for the most part. I mean, you can, if you want, you can play like little things. It's like the only really good thing I ever use it for is the alarm sounding. If you want to have like an alarm going off, but As you see, a lot of these things are blank. There is an actual music file, sound file attached to that. Just MCC doesn't recognize exactly what they are yet. So, at the volume of it, how it's gonna act, who's gonna see it, when they're gonna hear it. So when people are present, when people are not present, stuff like that. This is really cool. Like I said, with the alarms. Like let's say you have somebody from the west enter into is present in zone 1, an alarm's gonna go off. So as soon as your players enter a zone, you have an alarm go off, and cool things like that. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. It's supposed to be very in depth. Triggers, stay away from. Till you know what you're doing, stay away from triggers. Best way I can say it. Tasks. This is where you just create your little things on the map, and we'll go over that later. Briefing. Most people don't read, but this is where you add. I'm going to that later, actually. Briefing just adds little intelligence to the map. Markers, just add markers to the map, like little flags, icons, stuff like that. But you can easily do that if you're through the global stuff, and we'll go into that later. Debug menu, you don't need to worry about. Locations menu, if we have the map set up properly, for the most part, you don't need to worry about. This just goes into setting up FOBs and respawns, which sometimes don't work well. Time menu, if you don't want to use the MCC time, you have this one. The weather menu, again, if you don't want to use MCC or Zeus, you have the weather menu here. Obviously, disable respawn, pretty self-explanatory. Disables respawns to all players. Mission settings, I'm going to go really in depth on that after we go over Zeus functionality. Mission 1 and Mission Failed. They're going to pop up a question box when you hit them. If you click these, the server's going to stop. It's going to go, okay, the mission's over, and everything on the map is going to go away, and you're going to go back to the loading screen. So be very careful if you hit them. Ghost mode is essentially allows you to be invisible to enemies. It's useful occasionally. However, you can still be shot, so don't walk in front of bullets. It's not invulnerability, it just makes you invisible. Spectator, obviously just goes in a spectator cam, so you can follow players around, stuff like that, if you want to do it that way. And teleport, this only teleports you, and it's a quick way for you to teleport around rather than having to go select your player and teleport. You just click that and click around really quickly. Okay, so anyways, on to Zeus functionality. So that's basic MCC functionality. Apologize, I jumped around a little bit or went too in depth. We're going to go more in depth with stuff in a bit. Alright, so Y is your default key to go into Zeus. By default, it's also going to be just right over your head. As we can see, the rifleman we placed in MCC is also in Zeus. So this is on your right hand side here, or on your left hand side here, under the edit. You can close that up or put it up, doesn't matter. If you don't want to see these icons over people for whatever reason, you can close those. And as you open them, you'll see just the group icon and then the person icon. It's important to note, too, you are the only person that will show up in this. If they're in a vehicle that you have placed, they'll show up over here, too, for the players, and they'll show up in red. Also see, every time you go to do something like that, player cannot be edited, player cannot be edited. Won't let you screw with players, so be aware of that. We have our basic compass rows here with how long the mission's been running, which is very useful, what the current time is. Other things we want to make note of, this up here is, you currently see nothing in it but the Zeus lightning bolt. We don't have it on our server because we don't have public Zeusing, basically. We can limit how much Zeus can do, though. So, like spawning vehicles, using lightning bolts, dropping ammo crates, all that stuff cost points. We can assign points to all of that stuff, and Zeus will build points over time, and then you can create a cool... it's for public Zeus servers, but like I said, we really don't use it, so you don't really need to pay attention to that bar ever. It's just there for eye candy. So, if you're not seeing how I'm moving around here, right-click and holding is going to move your camera like this. Z and Q are going to move you up and down. WAS and D obviously move you around like that. Shift moves you around really, really fast. You can get to these quickly, If you have a group or a character selected and you press F, it's going to go to them very, very quickly. So it's just going to zoom you straight to where they are, and everything like that. Alright. I think that's it for basically what you need to do there. Oh, actually, we'll do... We'll go into those functions actually later. So basic functionality here. Units, and then you have your 5 things. You have Blue 4, Op 4, Independent, Civilian, and Empty. Like I said, Civilian in here in Zeus is purple, and MCC it's white. It just takes some getting used to. You have your different nations. If you have extra mods on when you load onto the server, you might have extra units in here, so make sure you're only placing what is on the server actually in. As we can see by Independent Op 4, we don't have all those options we had in MCC to place people. This sometimes bugs out with Zeus, sometimes it doesn't. You don't always get to place everything that's on the server. So just be aware of that. It happens. Some stuff you're just going to have to place through MCC. But the cool news is, once you place it through MCC, it'll be in this menu over here, and you can manipulate it through Zeus. But we'll go into that fully later. This is pretty simple. If you want to, there's little arrows next to everything. You just open them up. And then we have all your objects and ammo and stuff like that. This is where you go into base building and everything like that. MCC has more structures than is what is in here, though. However, the editor can be a little bit more finicky to use, so it's all about you realizing which one you want to use better. These ones are what you don't want to use. These explosives and mines. They have a high potentiality to show up on the player's screens. We'll go into that more in depth later. We have our groups up here. This is instead of spawning a single unit, we're going to spawn a group of units. So as you can see, sometimes we have more options in here for stuff. So this creates a big group for you instead of a single unit. The cool thing is too, while you're in the groups menu, if you go to empty, you have these pre-built complexes and stuff for you too, which is kind of fun to use. Modules is a big thing in Zeus. And we'll go more in depth in that later, but this is kind of some interaction stuff you can do. A lot of the stuff though you want to use through MCC. Pretty much the only thing you're going to be using here is the environment and Zeus. Markers I prefer using in Zeus because you can see them all and it's really quick to drop them down. These just have all the little things. You can also go through these on the map and stuff like that and place them down. But these appear, you don't see them. You'll see them here, but a player won't see that there. They'll just see it. They'll see it on the map like that. So, if you want to identify bases and stuff like that, that's kind of why you do that. Or if you want to identify where stuff is. Then this just shows what you've recently done. So, you can place it back in and stuff like that. If you've made the same unit a couple times, you just want to go back to recent and grab it really quickly. Simple as that. That is Zeus. You also have the map you can open with just M. And you can place your units in through here too. And again, you can select them and move them. Your camera is the little camera icon there. It shows your field of view. And that's basic functionality for Zeus. So we're going to hop back into MCC and go into full MCC in depth.